Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we're going to explore what is effective teaching. Effective teaching has to do with the development of the four skills. There is a fifth one, but the main four skills um, to develop a language, which are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And of course, there is this extra component or skill that has to do with uh, the monologue and process of thinking. But we're going to concentrate today first on how to teach listening in the foreign language to develop that skill. When we listen for a reason and with a purpose. The purpose of communicating. Listening, it's a two-way communication. So when we communicate, we want to understand each other. Based on that principle, we certainly try to come up with ideas and activities and using techniques that are intrinsically motivating for children. We should take into consideration the background knowledge, interest, and goals so we can develop motivating and fun activities for students, of course. And we have to try to use as much as possible, the foreign language and bringing realia, bringing authentic language to classrooms, which is not that difficult today due of the use of internet that many years ago was unthinkable. So you have that advantage today as these new teachers. So how can we assure that our children are really developing the listening skill? When they show listening comprehension by doing. So when they listen and they respond physically to a command, for example, or when they choose something selected from the alternatives, for example, as in pictures, yes? So you give them alternatives and you say, point to the rattles, point to the rattles, and the children would point to the rattles, point to the planes, point to the planes. So they by choosing, by doing the action, yes, like when I say stand up, and they listen and they respond physically. Also by transferring, so the listener, the children can draw a picture of what is heard. If I say, for example, can you draw an apple for me? Can you draw a mango for me? Can you draw a flower for me? Yeah, I can draw a flower. So you can give them options because sometimes they are not very good drawers, but from one word that you say as a teacher, so the children can draw. So they show comprehension, listening comprehension by doing, by choosing, by transferring. So they transfer what they heard into material language, I mean. Then also by extending outlines, or they can take notes, when you do dictations, and they can take that note depending on the age of the children. So right now we're not speaking only about very young learners, but also young learners in general. So thinking about up to sixth grade in the elementary school. By modeling, of course, and just by developing a conversation which that indicates the appropriate processing of information. So also you can encourage the development of listening skills by building strategies that students will improve their listening comprehension beyond that you can imagine. Some listening strategies that you can build, it's like looking for keywords, looking for non-verbal cues to meaning, predicting, making a prediction from a speaker's purpose, associating information, guessing at meanings. Yes, like when you're saying a story, they are listening to you. You're reading the story or telling the story, depending if you are reading, story reading, or storytelling. So if you are reading a story and you don't finish what it's coming, let me just give you an example so they can finish it for you. Yes, when you are reading a story that may be familiar for them, such as Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Yes, so you say, you have the pictures, you have the visual for them to learn, to discover meaning. And this is the house where the Goldilocks and the Three Bears lived. This is Daddy Bear, Mommy Bear, and so you can wait for them to say Baby Bear. Maybe they will if they know the story, or just by doing repetition, like they can guess what's coming next. Like in the bed at the teddy bear's house, there is a small chair for Baby Bear, a chair for Mommy Bear, and a big chair for Daddy Bear. There you go. So guessing at meanings, that it's a strategy to build from the part of the teacher, and then you can keep on going and showing them many strategies. So as teachers, strategies can come up from like two sides of the brain processing, and based on that we can create what we call button up listening strategies, or top down listening strategies. What is that supposed to mean? Well, it means that the strategies may vary according first to the age of the children, their capacities, their maturity. Remember Piaget's stages, yes? But also from the kind of language you want to develop in children. So, bottom up processing, how does it work? From the bottom and it keeps going up. So, it's like you begin from words, let's say, or maybe, yeah, you begin from sounds to words and then to a grammatical meaning. For example, you are teaching let's say, oh, we can use this one, the sound. So you're teaching this sound, the sound. So you make them practice many words that begins with the F, with the sound, like flower, like five, like four. So it precedes first a sound, and then you put syllables and letters together to make a word. Like if you say four, let's take four. For example, you say yes. So you will teach children like in chunks. So they would four. So you are creating from a very, very tiny piece of language, which is the sound, yes, to make combinations and make it a little bit bigger to form, to make a word, and then to come up with a grammatical, lexical meaning, like to a final message. So a bottom-up technique is one of these. It focuses on sounds, words, intonation, grammatical structures, and other components of the spoken language. That's bottom up. So you start from the very I'm going to use an eraser here. So you start from the bottom to the top. So you start with ah, er, four, yes, four, yes. So then you have a complete word. So you are teaching, you are developing R, R, four, R, or, four. So you are constructing language, the meaning. So from an isolated sound to making combinations and then creating one word, and then you say four little Indians, yes, and you can start like teaching a song or whatever, connecting this to another activity, like one little, two little, three little Indians, four little, five little, six little Indians. So you can keep on going and being as creative as you want. So that is bottom up. So they listen. More activities, more examples. Students, children listen to a pair of words and they circle if the words are the same or different. These words same or different. Let me see if I can find one example here. What is different? What is the same? Yeah, let's say. Uh, mhm. Also, they can match a word to what they hear. Yeah, can match. Say matching is very popular. So, like, how many beds can you see? One, you count them: one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Nine beds. Yes. So you have previously been teaching this before, and then you can, of course, um, you can ask children to complete activities, to complete match a number with a picture, like are they same, are they different, like this ones. I circle the words that are the same or they are different, for example, you see. So this is a very typical um, example of a button up technique. And the button up technique is listen to a pair of words and circle if they are the same and circle if they are different, or color with green if they're different, color with red if they are the same. So it depends on the directions you give them. You can also, they will, if they are like older children, yes, you can read or they can listen to a short dialogue conversation and just filling in the blanks of a transcript. So what it's missing in the blanks, they will try to fill it in with the words you give them in a box, for example. So they're different. They're doing, in addition to listening, they will be writing or maybe just putting the words. Doing puzzles, doing puzzles, you can like make combinations of letters. So you can give them, like, you say, okay, find for me here, find for me an H. Oh my goodness. So you give them, like, okay, letter H. Find for me, can you give me an M, please? This is like a W, but I'm going to turn it up. See, M. And this is a W. Yeah. So, this has to do with effective teaching and developing the listening skill particularly. So the top-down techniques, which is the opposite, okay? The top-down techniques begins with the activation of background knowledge and the meaning of the text. So, for example, the students listen to some utterance, some chunks of language, or excerpts of conversations or dialogues, and they can describe their emotional reaction when they hear happy within a story, sad. Students listen also maybe to a sentence describing a picture and selecting the correct picture. So if they have like a sentence, let me see if I have an example here for you too. Uh, Actually, this book is not for really for you older children, but for very young learners. But maybe I can find an example for you here. So they hear you describe a picture and they select the correct picture. So you have like two pictures. Let's say these two pictures, okay? So I say, all right, ow, without making any emotions, see if they can discover just by the colors, by saying, okay, you choose a picture. Is this the picture or is this the picture? Um, uh, we can see the toucan with its long, colorful beak. Is this picture or that picture? Is picture one, picture two, one or two? So you give them, always the resource. Big flashcards, colorful flashcards, you use the board, you have material handy, yes, that you have to use when teaching children to develop. Specifically, in this case, the listening skills, but it applies for all of the other skills that you need to develop. So that's a top-down technique, which is the opposite from a very like a huge text, like the one I just showed you in the picture of the toucan and the one I have here. Oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. See? Okay, so I have. Uh, we can also see the gorgeous bunny with its tiny nose and very small mouth. So, from this description, which is a top processing background knowledge, I'm using this strategy. From their what they know, their background knowledge, what they may infer, predict, discover, yes, and then make a selection, choose, identify. So remember, children listen and do, listen and make. Based on those premises is the way that you have to teach and create your strategies. All right, guys. So I'll see you again at the with the speaking skill. It's very connected to the listening skill. Bye bye.